Hi there. Happy Tuesday. So first, I want to just call out that I'm not using my camera, and so the film quality and with backlighting and everything else, quality probably isn't as good this week, and that's okay. So I chose to take a subpar action because subpar action is always better than perfection that doesn't ever happen. So just letting you know, calling it out. I know the quality is not as awesome as it can be. And, we all know that I haven't started editing these videos yet or anything like that. And so, again, it's just that whole idea of, less than perfect action is always more powerful than waiting for the perfection and then it never happening. So that's number one. And in that theme of taking action, today I'm going to talk about a very special, certain kind of action. We're always talking about the action is the only thing that actually counts when it comes to manifesting things, when it comes to things coming to fruition and actually seeing results in our lives. It's the action, not the thought, that counts. And so today we're going to talk about a very specific kind of action called conversation. That yes, conversations, especially difficult conversations, are a form of action. Hear that. Conversations with other people, not just inside of your own head. When it's still inside of your own head, it's still a thought. But when we communicate it outwardly to other people, that is action. That's what all of these videos are. That's what, most of coaching is. It's that conversations are a form of action. So a few things to keep in mind. That when you do think of a conversation to have and you get the ickies, you get those that it just kind of it tightens up and you're like, oh, I know I should have that conversation, but oh, I really don't want to. That's going to be uncomfortable. Oh, I don't know what they're going to say. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. That ickies, those ickies, that tense thing that is happening, that is not going to look attractive. Taking screenshots. Anyway, when we feel those feelings, that's actually a sign that it's time to do it. I know you didn't want to hear me say that, but it's true. When we feel those ickies, when we get that tense up inside that, it is time to have the conversation. It's time to push through the uncomfortableness. It's time to practice what that feels like. It is time to have the conversation, which brings me to my second point. Especially for those of you that are similarly to me, a little bit in the woo-woo, a little bit of spiritual, a little bit of all that kind of thing. There is a misconception out there, though, that I want to, we've talked about the difference between flow and ease before, but I'm going to bring it back a little bit in reminding you that easy is not necessarily the right way. No, 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 no. Flow. Flow is what energetically takes us places, but flow is not necessarily easy. And in fact, the reality is it's usually the opposite. If it feels difficult, if it feels like a mountain in front of us, it's usually worth the climb. Hear this, hear this. When we're faced with two choices and one looks really effortlessly easy and one looks pretty difficult, more times than not, it's the difficult path that will get us what we actually want in the end. Usually the easy is a little more instant gratification-y. It's not pushing our boundaries. It's not taking us out of our comfort zone, but this is. So again, maybe not a huge mountain, maybe a nice size hill, but taking the harder route is the one that will give you better results on the end, on the other side of it. So I know that's a rough one, and we will, we'll continue and feel free to bring on the questions and all of those kinds of things around that of knowing what the difference is. And then the third point for today. So the first one was that, that goofy, icky feeling and pushing through it anyway. The second one is when it's difficult, push through it anyway. And the third one is going to may feel a little bit like a backpedaling. What it is the reminder that when we are talking about conversations, that the right conversation in the wrong mood is the wrong conversation. So it is ensuring that even though it is that difficult conversation that makes you totally nervous, gives you the thing and all of that kind of stuff, and it feels overwhelming and it feels so scary, it's also important to remember to get yourself in the right mood to have that conversation. Get yourself empowered, practice it, look at some different elements of difficult conversations to make sure that you put in there, make sure that you're honoring the person that you need to talk to, regardless of what you need to talk to them about, honoring their point of view and their perception, and being empathetic to them and why it is that they want the thing you're asking for, and all of those things, right? Doing some training on difficult conversations may not be a bad idea. So remembering that getting yourself in the right mood and also ensuring that they are in a similarly right mood. So, you know, that I'm, right and wrong is not something that I usually like to say. And they may never be in the absolute perfect mood. We often use that as an excuse not to have these conversations. So not the perfect mood, but a rightish mood. Don't wait for a fight to bring up something that you want to talk about. Make sure that it is, that both of you are in a mood of potential acceptance when having these conversations. And again, that may be hard to tell when you're avoiding and when you're really being clear. So that may be something that I can help you distinguish between those two things. So again, conversations are action. It is important to verbalize your things out loud, even if you think, you assume that they know, you assume that they know better, you assume that you have shown them or told them before. Throw all the assumptions out the window. Conversations are in fact action, and they are needed. And this is for good and bad. Conversations of action also include telling people how much you appreciate them, you love them. Yes, you can show them all you want, but you know what? Tell them too. Conversations are important. Fight through the icky feeling, get past it. Fight through, the idea that if it's difficult, it must not be right. I challenge that. I totally challenge that. And really get yourself and make sure that there's a mood of, potential openness, flexibility, lightness, a mood of lightness before entering into these difficult conversations. Like, follow, share, do whatever the things are that you're supposed to be doing to be getting this stuff out there for me. Sorry about that. Do all the things. That's my cue. It's time to go. Let me know what you think. Let me know any questions, and I will see you. Well, you will see me next week. Bye.